Don't nobody else make me feel like. Yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. So don't nobody else make me feel like. Yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. So don't nobody else make me feel like. Yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. So don't nobody else make me feel like. 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 Yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. So don't nobody else make me feel like. Yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel like. Don't nobody else make me feel
All right, what's up, guys? Let's get to it. NFP time. Grand Rising. Happy Friday. Let's knock out this week. We got Diego, Brandon, Caius, Seth. Got Lonzo, Steve. Hanging around. What's up, mate? Luis, Gallardo, Ramiro, Edwin, Gabriel. What's up, everybody? Puccini. What's up, Isaiah, Harshi. Buenos dias, Hima. Yeah, I did. I did hit the biggest trade again yesterday. Gold went crazy. We got about 30, a little under 37K on yesterday's trade. But the RRs, it's because I've been hitting just like 5-6 Rs, so they've been pretty fat. But let's dive into it, guys. We got 10 minutes till New York Open. Let's start looking at some beautiful charts over here. Okay, so with indices. Indices here has been interesting. It's been nice. So we've had, I'll start with one screen and then we'll move over to two. But yesterday's New York Open, right, we took out a nice little push to the upside with NASDAQ. This is the micro chart, right? So we take one more push higher. Here's a little bit of liquidity. And then New York Open makes one more run, and then this just bleeds out. The 5-minute ends up trading below these lows for the majority of the rest of New York session. So we end up trading here until about an hour short of the close. So that's a lot of bearish structure to me. That just confirms to me bearish momentum. So I am looking to see if we can get a sell out of this zone. You know, we've seen a lot of price action around here. So selling out of these areas looks good to me. I don't even think we need to trade too high in here. Like the market kind of cracking into these levels and we're good to go. So I am looking for a short with NASDAQ. Well, I'll say 25,780. The stop is here. About 23 points or so. And then the target, right? The first target. Market's been pretty efficient. Like we've filled imbalances. There's kind of one over here. You definitely have an imbalance to target over here. So I think we can get a comfortably, I think we can see a 3.4 R out of this idea. So I like what we have here. And then looking at our other assets, the other indices. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Yes, okay. So looking at these other indices, I do think that this would be taking out London highs. S&P is already taking out Tokyo highs, approaching New York highs. And then if you look at Dow Jones is also trading up to here. So Dow actually made a spike up with its Asian highs, the Tokyo highs. You see how it kind of pumped up here and then dropped just now. I could see the market still taking out these highs one more time since it's trading up here pretty fast. So I think we could see one more rally before we get a drop. So that's why I want to have split screen here. I want us to be mindful of both NASDAQ and Dow Jones as we proceed to take this trade here. Yeah, so these Tokyo highs is kind of what I'm looking at. And then the drop could be pretty epic. So we'll see. The drop here, I mean, I would assume we could see Dow fill this imbalance. If not, we might be seeing the beginning of another drop. So this is starting to look like a potential distribution, especially if it takes out the high and drops again. Maybe we can see the beginning of a distribution phase lining up here. We got about 6 minutes till New York Open. So I'm going to set a limit here. Things are looking pretty solid for a trade in this area. So set my risk here. And then we'll be good to go. You know, these accounts is always being copied over. This is the leader, copies over to the rest of the account. Here we're working with how much do we have right now? Like 2.5 million, give or take. So we got that we're working with right now on the copy trader. And then, so okay, we have a few minutes, so we have time to look at some other things. So I want to go through and then kind of take a look at metals and then take a look at oil. So, my bad. Let's go here. So we just broke below this London low. So we just cracked through there, mitigating this area. So I saw this just a kind of right, like a couple minutes too late when I saw the market rejecting this zone. Either way, not something that I think I would have taken. Silver as well, bullish, starting to rip. Now, I know some of you might be looking at sells, right? You saw, for example, here we had a lot of consolidation, a lot of liquidity, just a lot of sideways movement. This move here at 6 a.m. Central, this clears out liquidity, trades up into here, and then we see it drop down. However, when the market breaks this low, to me, this is not a creation of a bearish structure, right? This breaks below, it feels imbalanced, it mitigates, but we don't actually see too many sell positions below this low. This buyers definitely take over really quick. So I'm not looking to sell this quite yet. This is in a consolidation in a range. So yeah, gonna go ahead and skip any sells as attractive as they may be. And I think that leads us to, are there buy setups, right? Are there any scenarios and we can be buying metals? And really the last key area that I think we could buy would be down here. Gold gives a nice push down before it all rallies. So we might see a decent setup all the way over here. And if I show you the detail here, if we get down to the 1 minute looking at kind of what the price was doing, you can see it, right? There was some sideways movement, some support being created for about 10 minutes, clears the lows, and then this rally. So if we were to work our way down to here, and let's say gold is dropping at a slower pace than silver, I could be interested in a buy over here. So I'm going to keep my eye out on gold. We'll see how this overall is moving with gold. We want to ride the momentum. It's going to give us the best risk reward. And then silver here has dipped more. So we've seen stronger moves to the downside. Gold would be trading out of this like 845, 850 drop. Silver, on the other hand, has that move way down here. This is like the same movement. So we'll kind of see how we work our way down, what the momentum looks like, what the pace looks like. Because other than that, we have another silver move down here before the market starts to fly again. So there's kind of different areas that I think metals could still come back down to. If you look over, we were moving sideways. We were building liquidity here with silver throughout New York session. It makes one more move down. This might have mitigated that, actually. So let's see. So here you see the move down. Hold on. I think I lost my spot. Yeah, during Asian session. Okay, perfect. So we kind of see this start to crash. I want to see where exactly this starts to move its way down. So, yeah, I mean, we work our way down. One doji, another move and continuation. To me, it does look like this probably already rebalanced, mitigated right here. Maybe there's another little dip down, but we'll keep our eyes on how silver and gold move. But right now we're a minute away, less than a minute away, and I do believe that we can see price action get over here. Dow looks a lot closer to taking out New York and Tokyo highs again. So momentum should be some decent momentum right now going into this idea. So NFP can be a very quick spike up and down or vice versa. So we'll be on top of it here. Shakeout on oil. Yeah, I can take that out. I can check that out in a bit. We'll look at this after we see this open. So gonna be on top of it, see how we open, see what this momentum looks like. Okay, we got triggered in, immediately reacted, guys. All right, let's move. I'm gonna tighten my stop now. Here, getting a good push. If the market continues to work its way down, then we'll kind of see if this is going to be take profit, stop profit. This is obviously moving very fast, very choppy over here. Pushing up and down. We've already mitigated, so I tightened my stop. Want to give it at least a chance to work its way lower from here. If not, then it'll be a tiny loss, and that's okay. Let's see here. If it breaks below this wick that we just saw down here, then I'll go ahead and tighten up. I'll go risk-free on this one. So you see how NFP was like an instant mega pump dump, triggered us in here. So, okay, nice. So now I'm going to go break even. I'm going to go risk-free here. Okay, nice. Got about a 1 hour that we're running right now across the board. This is the 15-second here. We saw a nice push into the imbalance, so I'll go even 5 seconds. So we saw into here. We're dropping again. Looks like market. Let's see if it's kind of staying down here. Pushing further down faster than Dow Jones, for example. So that's good. We also saw NQ spike down and then up, so it kind of went in both directions. Here. So it's fast. Y'all see how fast that was? You're in. All right, perfect. Let's see if we can stay in. Otherwise, if it's a risk-free, if it's a break-even trade, it's a break-even trade. And then our target right now, to zoom out a little bit, the target, at least for me, is playing into this imbalance. We haven't gotten down here yet, so I do think we can get here, pretty responsibly. We have the, let's see, why do I feel like this isn't, I feel like this under-leveraged us or something. But I'm actually going to move this a little bit lower because we are pushing further down faster here with NQ. So let's see. And then, it wouldn't be surprising at all if we see Dow Jones take out the London Tokyo lows over here. So we can play this by ear. Let's see how the market keeps moving. It's not like Dow is creating higher highs or any structure. And look at how we timed it out, right? We saw hey, Dow Jones can take out Tokyo highs, can take out New York highs, and then drop. And that's exactly what it did. So after this liquidity was swept and this triggered New York open, the market is being kind enough to move in our favor. What I'm going to do also is I'm actually going to give myself a little bit more profit here just in case. Right there, right? Just into the high here with NQ. That way, at least, we can run away with something in a worst case scenario. And then we can take a look at S&P as well. S&P here. Dropping. S&P did a great job clearing the highs, trading into this imbalance, this order block, and then dropping as well. If you look at S&P also can always give us clues with price action and where it could go. S&P also has this imbalance to trade into. So, seeing S&P work its way down to here, seeing if we can, trade into this imbalance, it could go our way, right? So for now, it looks like we're just kind of getting choppy. seeing if the market wants to survive these moves. It's pulling up pretty quick, so we might not be able to hold on to this one. And that's okay, right? I'm not here to chase it. I'm not here to look to enter again. If it, respects the zone, beautiful. If not, then, there's nothing else I can do. It is what it is. And then we can just look for a totally different setup potentially. So that was the case. We got about a 1.5 R on this trade before it turned back around. So as cool as it was, it is what it is. Now, the only unfortunate thing would be if it just wanted to come back into this imbalance and then drop. Then I would be pretty salty. But looks like that's not the case, and this is going to keep running. So, at least we got like $100 out of it. Yeah, better than nothing. And it looks like it basically came down to when we had NFP. So here's something that's kind of interesting. When we had the NFP move, I want you guys to notice something. NFP did this. It spiked down and then up. So it looks like it mitigated up here, came back down, closed the buy order, and then it just wanted to continue the buy order. So that's all that we got, really, was this. Now, what I'm curious about is, does that leave another position here to trade still? Like, Dow Jones spikes down pretty aggressively, rallies. So let's see. I mean, I could have looked at, I guess, NQ instead of just MNQ. And this does look different. The spike down is not really there, actually. Okay, interesting. And it is so without micros, if we're only looking at the minis, which are the most accurate representation of volume, NASDAQ doesn't spike down like that. S&P doesn't spike down like that. Dow Jones does. Dow here does. And we see the open. Here is the open. It crashes down. So if we keep trading up here, if Dow keeps holding bullish structure up here, so if we can keep seeing something like this, then we might have a buy position over here. Yeah, no, this is ugly. But this is my point. So if we could see, for example, a rollout of some demand over here, however this may want to look, then we could work our way back down to here and then see a continuation some more. Something like this is possible. So this is NFP's drop and then rally. This is it right here. There's still the Asian lows and London lows over here. So we'll kind of take this. We'll play this by ear, right? We'll let the market show us what it really wants to do. Also, second option is, and this is an important one because NASDAQ has not worked its way up toward all-time highs yet. So if you're looking at NQ has a long way to go, right? We're still not anywhere near all-time highs, while Dow Jones has already done that. Dow's already at all-time highs. S&P not quite at all-time highs yet, but this is the all-time highs. It's pretty close. It could happen today. That wouldn't be surprising. So, message. I actually didn't realize that there were so many different sounds for these alerts. Like, I had no idea. Isn't that insane? All these times, I just never checked. This is funny. So, yeah, clearing these highs. We have a cash register. All right, we're going to make it the cash register. all-time highs, that's cash right there. So, yeah, apparently there's different sounds. Okay, so we did our thing. NQ now trades towards let's see. We get the mitigation over here. Now we're more than likely to take, I'm sure we'll go higher or something like that. There's liquidity. I don't really have another entry for NQ. Maybe we see a move over here, but I would rather kind of let the market like play off of price action. So if we see, for example, clearing Thursday's highs over here, then maybe we get a reversal. So we could see something like this. I think I just walked you guys through it. But like, we could take out the highs and see something different. So if NASDAQ were to take out these highs here, cool, that might be, we might get something here, right? We could see a sweep of the highs. If we lose momentum, then, and, you know, create liquidity, then we might be able to look for a sell. Something like this is possible, whether it's NASDAQ or anything else, right? All right. Now with Australian and the other indices, right, we had already mitigated over here. So we saw the drop. We saw the reaction. So this already had done its business. So we didn't have a trade to take over here anymore. So the job was completed here. From there, I didn't have any other setups with this so far. So just kind of staying put. But what we are noticing is that these might be setting up for buys later. So Australian did clear out these lows. So check this out. Australian now has officially taken out all of these lows one more time, and then now it's rallying. So here, this gets below this area, and now it's just flying here. So if this starts to clear these highs here, so 6A, 15-minute, then this could start to establish something worth trading. So definitely more bullish for Australian than NZD. Euro trying, not quite there yet. CAD, sweep to low, still needs to push higher for it to be worth a sell or a buy. The sell zone still valid up here. Yen still way down here, no setups. The pound, same thing. Pound is giving the same type of energy. Massive push down. Big clearance of all of this, and then just absolutely sending now. So the pound might be setting up for bullish price action as well. So let's let the market play out a little longer during this session. Maybe we get something, maybe not today, but maybe early next week we might be already ready to have something. Remember, in 45 minutes we have New York Open. In an hour and 18 minutes we have a dollar news event. So we definitely can still get quite a bit of have some fun here. Gold NFP pushed down and then another move higher. Cool. Silver didn't really make any move to the downside, not anything significant. So they're both still bullish. And now trading towards the highs of this area here. So actually, let's look at that. Now gold is in, this range where could we be selling out of here? And silver is definitely not anywhere near this area. So there's a massive imbalance over here that I can still trade to. So like this was Tuesday Tokyo session. Silver is nowhere near this yet. So I'm not going to get in the way of, I'm not going to start selling gold since it's been pushing up a lot more aggressively than silver. So just going to let that chill. Gold, I'd still would prefer buys. However, would I buy with this NFP drop? Let's look. because NFP drops down to here. Right there. It gets pretty close to making equal lows. I would say if we continue to stay bullish here for longer, so if let's say we just keep trading into New York Open to here, then I mean I'm not against taking a buy over here. Maybe we could consider slightly less risk since the market, I did get pretty close to liquidity, but this looks more like an imbalance fill and then a rally. So if we were to stay bullish, then I would be looking for buys like right there. Right where we've seen a lot of the support here. This is where I would be setting up for buys. So I'm going to actually set this up. We could even go to the seconds time frame. Starts from 44836. 484. So right around here. And then a buy limit, in my opinion, I would take it like right here. And then see this bad boy run. Might take this even further. Will depend on how we work our way down. But this would be the limit order. Okay. In the meantime, let's pull up Dow. Let's look at NQ again. See what new data it is that we have here. All right, so we'll leave you here. I'm gonna set alerts if we start to approach this gold area, and then silver. Not as it's not flying as high here. So let's see. Keep an eye on silver, see where silver's at later. Right now, what we know is after it cleared these highs, we've currently been trading above here for about 14 minutes. So the longer we stay up here, the more likely it is that this is bullish structure, that it respects the zone that it's in. You guys asked me about oil. Oil mitigated out of here beautifully. Sadly, the timing sucked. So it got to this area right before the market closed, at least for futures. And then we came back up into here again during London session. So I know there was re-entries that were being considered around this time. So it came right into here. I don't even know. It looks like it kind of missed the re-entry. I don't know if that's right or not, but it got really, really close. I guess it traded out of here, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, where does that last push up really start? It just seems like we get a little bit higher. But it's pretty damn close. Would I want to take a position here again? Or not again, but just take a position. Honestly, I think this is still valid. It feels like it's only made equal highs. Oh, wrong tool. Here we go. So this looks like liquidity. It looks like it just misses. I don't know. It seems like this could still be an idea. I'm not going to take it with the full R because this might have already done the thing here. So I mean, I'd half R. I'd probably take this with, but beyond that, we do see a big drop here during London session. This takes out Asian session lows, fills some of this imbalance, plays out of a little order block, and then we see this rally. So does this set this up for, thank you, baby. Does this set us up for a shakeout or something. We break the low, we fill the imbalance completely, and we get past the imbalance. So I'm not too in love with taking any positions here now. I think I'd rather just kind of stay put here. This sell, we've seen it fill imbalance. This might have still an opportunity. Like I said, I would take this with less risk though, and then see it through. So we'll see. Once it starts, if we get a little bit closer, we'll kind of identify what this trade might look like here. That's oil. Let me know in the chat any ideas. That was fast. Yeah. That's why the NQ was like with the limit, because NFP, you know, it's gonna go like that. Survivor and Odyssey CFDs. Looking out, shakeout buy on oil. Yeah, so since we already filled imbalance, I'm not like, I like it less. It could play out. It's possible. There's all of this down here, this imbalance. So maybe, but since we already like filled the entire imbalance, typically the way I look at the shakeout is the market drops and it's looking to lure in sellers, like a break and retest. It doesn't seem like we got that. Like we didn't really break and retest anywheres. We just created more liquidity. So at least I don't have a setup in which this would be a valid idea yet. What I don't like with the sell here is the fact that we already swept liquidity. Like we took out a lot of liquidity and imbalance. Of course, there's more imbalance. But the fact that this is already happening, like this is a very quick loss of momentum. Even the 4 hour, you can kind of tell here. This immediately loses this. So there's less incentive for price to, want to go lower, especially since this has filled a lot of the imbalance, played out of the order block and ran. So going for a sell here, what is it really targeting? That's the question. Like, what is this really going to target? So, honestly, I think I'm just going to skip this idea altogether. I can live with that. Okay. Going back over to gold and silver. All right. So, after we broke above on the 1 minute, we traded above here for 20 minutes or so. Decent structure. Would prefer if we got more of this, for sure. Silver is looking the same. They're trading very similar. Okay. This is a good bounce that it's coming back up here. That's giving this more credibility. All right. Indices. Back to indices. We have price trying to stay up here. It is losing momentum every time it does try. Dow doing a better job at this. So Dow has now been trading above the zone for the last 18 minutes or so. And yeah, I mean, if you guys like the idea on it, then play it out. $150K Lightning, how much do I risk? I risk, yo pongo en riesgo 500. Porque eso me da como 10 a 12 oportunidades de perder. Y sí, está normal. Pero depende de qué nivel de riesgo conservativo más agresivo quieres operar. Okay, so yeah, I mean, looks like this is holding up decent. Yeah, so Dow is trading here a pretty decent amount. So if I were to look for positions here, it looks like I would want a pretty deep retracement back into this area before a buy. Sometimes the market will reject like where we've seen resistance. Sometimes it's where we see support. It's really up to you. We'll kind of see where this all comes, like how the market works its way back down. But at the moment, if I were to set it up, I would set it up like this. If you wanted to first like get a high probability entry, you'd probably just look for an entry a little bit higher. But I'm okay with taking my trade like where we have this would be the deepest retracement entry where we have a lot of support around here. And then we have another like layer of support over here as well. So I'm okay with this. This is a massive risk reward trade. Mike, I just went on the 1 minute timer for gold on my feed on TS. It seems to have left an equal low with a wake to the left at 4467. This is a problem for the trade. It could be. Let's see. I believe I looked at that already. I didn't see this as an equal low. To me, this was a liquidity sweep. Trades into the imbalance. Yeah, it's close. Don't get me wrong. It's like 5 points away. But I'm okay with this due to the intention of how it moved. So like we cleared lows and then rallied. But if you see something like this and this looks like a red flag to you, then either disqualify it or drop your risk down. Gold definitely likes extremes, so I'm at peace with this kind of setup. Maybe micros might have been tighter. Yeah, micros look really, really tight. The spike on YM does not go that far down. That's right. That's right. Good looks. Oh, that's a big difference. Okay, that is good to know. That changes this idea completely. Thank you, Seth. So with YM, this is like I'd say the real chart, we start to create, support here. You see it kind of start to trend its way up. Support, and then it runs. So I would prefer if we were to go and take a look at overall what's happening over here. We've seen a lot of resistance around here, support around here. So I think I would go for like a 49.5, 25, we'll say. So something like this makes more sense. This completely changes. This is such a difference, such a massive difference. It changes the idea. Let's see. $440 for 4 cons, $550. I might just take this with YM instead of MYM, since there is a pretty big difference, and then just slightly under leverage. That's not a big deal. I don't see her have that move. What it means, Mike? Just look at the futures chart. The futures chart will give you basically the most real data. So I'm going to trade this one on YM instead of micros. And I'll just take a slight under leverage for the benefit of precision. With how the market's set up here so far, with gold as well, I'm going to set the limit here with gold too. I already have it set. Just kidding. Okay. All right, things are coming together. With indices, we had the pump up here. This takes out the highs. Could we be seeing a shakeout, actually? So we clear price action. We trade into, not quite into Wednesday's New York Open, right? We still have this setup way up here for Dow Jones. But yeah, Dow is trading in Wednesday's, actually, yeah, right into like Wednesday's, towards Wednesday's price action. New York Open. S&P similarly working its way higher. NASDAQ, so it looks like NASDAQ is starting to build up a bit more bullish momentum for now. See how it's starting to go higher and higher. Dow kind of chilling. And Q going for the highs. So look at that. Nice. NASDAQ now, I think, on the brink. Actually just took out Thursday's unemployment claims high. So this is a clearance of liquidity actively with NQ. And that's that. That was the oil, right? All right, so oil here taking out liquidity. I like that alert better. It's less it's less alarming. Okay, sweet. So there goes oil. Cool. We have NQ taking out the highs. S&P going towards the highs. Dow is holding it down. So, okay. So look at this, right? We see after NFP, the market, Dow Jones takes the high. And it breaks through some key levels, right? It takes out the high. Wednesday's, little reversal here and trades into imbalance over here. So we definitely have a Dow trading into this order block from 8:45 on Wednesday. I don't know if that was a news event or not. And that's efficient, very efficient, because we already had pulled back. So Dow honestly already became efficient with this move. And then it is trading, it's chopping up in here. So this looks like a buildup of liquidity, in my opinion. So right now it looks like clears the highs, chopping up, luring in retail buyers. Part of me wants to take a sell if it gets up here. I'm going to take a small risk sell on like up here. This would be a shakeout, yes. And then let's see where this could take us. Maybe this takes us down to here. So my thought process is we clear liquidity. There's definitely divergence. Right now, Dow is bearish while we're seeing NQ go higher and higher, S&P go higher and higher. S&P also has its own targets, trading into this imbalance. It could go a little bit higher as well. So I like it. I'm willing to risk a bit to see this one, to see if we get something here. The divergence is pretty big, honestly. So unless this is already doing its thing and this just bleeds out, then whatever, it is what it is. But oh man, I'm gonna be sad if this sells out from here. I'm hesitant to sell at those high levels. Feels like on higher time frame yesterday is at top of levels on higher time frames. I mean, yeah, it traded up. It's efficient already. So since we already traded up here and there's no more like imbalances, everything is pretty much good to go. That's why I liked this. Whereas the rest had higher to go. Fuck. God damn it. This thing is dropping without us. Sad. I had a feeling this thing was about to drop. It looked like that divergence was pretty big. So it is what it is. I'm going to just delete this now. Because now it had targeted the liquidity. It cleared these lows. So whatever. Now what we could see, all right, it's like I talked about here. We're seeing NQ take out these lows. So here we had the sweep of liquidity. Now we're working our way back down. Maybe we build out, we roll out, like I mentioned here. We create some retail buyers. Maybe we can get a sell position. Would have to consider Dow for sure and see what's going on there. And then now, the buy on Dow, we have to kind of reevaluate. Because we want to see, well, how aggressive is NASDAQ and S&P going to work its way down? Is there still a buy position over here? Like here's the last spike down with NQ. This is the 15 second. I know a lot of you might not have this time frame. So here is NQ working its way down, clearing some of the support, getting below the NFP open, and then running. So these are kind of different structures. So let's look at this from a structure retracement point of view. You have, this is the movement that we get. We're not even at a 38.2 pullback yet on NQ. Whereas when we're looking at Dow Jones, it's starting to push down a bit faster, a bit more aggressive. The pullback here is already below a 38.2. So if things stay the same and Dow keeps working its way down faster, then I might have to dismiss the Dow Jones buy. It will depend. Obviously, you guys see this happen all the time. The price action can switch. So all of a sudden, NQ might pick up a ton of momentum and it wants to just tank. And all of a sudden, that's way more bearish. For now, it looks like Dow has a bit more downwards momentum. But we'll wait and see. Same thing, right? Looking for a sell with NQ now that it swept the highs, came back down. If, let's say, for example, let's say Dow just starts to go up and it starts to push up a lot faster and Q holds it down and it just kind of stays here, then maybe we have a shakeout. So it'll just depend. It'll depend on how this works. So if this keeps working its way, if all indices drop, but NQ is having a better, it's less bearish, then I am open to buying NASDAQ, where we've seen some levels of resistance here before, quite a bit. say 25,750, and then we can have an opportunity here. I might have to trade micros to get really precise. Let's see. 2 units would be how much? 540. Okay, I'd be done. I'd still take 2 units. So I'm not going to set that yet. I'm just running the scenarios. So I'm actually going to delete this limit for now. But now we know that there's options, right? Possibly 4 contracts on YM. Possibly 2 contracts on NQ. We shall wait and see, my friends. Gold. Yo, what's up, Corey? MNQ and NQ's candle look different. Yeah. The true candle would be NQ. That's what, there's more volume going to be there. Gold and silver. Silver starting to push actually more bullish. Let's see. All right, so this buy does look like it's setting up well for gold and silver. Take a look. NQ pushing down. Dow holding up. Maybe it flips. Maybe we start seeing this NQ drop. And Dow chills out. Could catch up to it. Tricky indices. Man, ain't gold moving. Gold doing its thing. Silver working its way up. All right. After that alert on oil, what do we got? Oil definitely pushing higher and higher. All right. Working in towards this imbalance. So it looks like oil is approaching, about to take out the London highs over here, which would be equal highs as well. And then targeting. You know what? This oil trade could play out because it would be sweeping the liquidity from London highs, and that could give us an exchange and drop. It doesn't need to drop, something crazy, but it could give at least something worthwhile, right? It could still give, for example, even a 2R would be not a terrible trade here. Just trading into like the imbalance. So I could see that. Oh, what the heck? I missed it for 2 seconds. So look, cool. NQ just died. NQ just died. Yo, 2 minutes. It's like, all right, peace. So NQ dips out. Dow is chilling. All right, so we're back to Dow having the better opportunity. Yeah. Oh, that's wild. You remember what I said? I was like, price action can just change at any time. So, okay, NQ drops, plays into the zone. It mitigates this already, it looks like. So this reverses instantly. Wouldn't have tagged me in anyways. So, cool. That's doing its thing. Great. And then now we have Dow Jones that can work its way towards these areas. So let me place an alert when we get a little bit closer here. That surprised me. I didn't have an alert in there, so. Oil in zone. All right, let's go over to oil. For me, this is going to be a half risk setup. Why is this being weird? 58, no, 75. Okay, cool. So half risk. See if we get a reversal out of here. No, I think we're gonna lose within like a minute. It seems like. Quick loss here. Well, maybe we'll see. But if we get the reversal, awesome. You know, we can work our way into these areas. If not, I already had a feeling this was a little bit. You know, it had some risk potential. So. Not the biggest deal in the world for me by any means. Worth a little jab to see if we can kind of rebalance all of this. But like we mentioned, with the fact that there was a lot less incentive with this taking out the lows, the liquidity, feeling in balance, the market coming down, rebalancing a bit. There's still some target maybe here, and oil does have a target over here, but that's why it wasn't a full risk. So, yeah, that was the quickest, one of the fastest losses of the year for sure. I shouldn't have even taken it, to be honest. I think it was, I wouldn't say it was hope, but because this was borderline mitigation, it was like, all right, maybe we can get a setup there, maybe not, but whatever. We got a little bit of profit from that NQ sell, so it was like using NQ profits to take a position there. All right, but now anyways, going to a higher quality setup before I just lit money on fire. What did I just do here? What the fuck? Okay, there we go. So Dow working its way here. Hopefully you guys didn't even have time to take that. You probably didn't even take any losses. That would be ideal. Now, okay, interesting. So we got a good initial move up, and now NQ is dropping, but slower. So we're at like between 618, 786 with NASDAQ. And then now we're seeing Dow Jones work its way down. It's below the 618 as well. So it does look like NQ and S&P are still a bit more bearish, while Dow here is holding up the structure a bit better. So Dow Jones not at the 786 yet, while NQ already is. For a great risk reward, yeah, I like my entry over here. Like I mentioned before, we've already seen resistance around this area, support around this area, resistance around this area. So looking for a buy in here for Dow, I think just makes a lot of sense. And then this, we're seeing NQ go towards 886. I would, especially if we see NASDAQ take out the low, S&P take out the low, and that bring Dow here to an entry, that would be fantastic. NQ at 886, Dow approaching 786. Yeah, because if NASDAQ takes out this low or even these lows, we're in business over here. Because now that's a pretty good divergence in structure. So I have my alert set here if NQ taking the lows. S&P just about to break through. I wonder if it'll clear these two. And then Dow getting closer and closer. All right, NQ just tapped below here. There we go. Just getting below. And then Dow starting to settle. So it's starting to kind of struggle. I want to see NQ take that out. Let's see. No alert went off. Damn, equal lows. All right, I'm going to hold on this because it made liquidity. We might get one more push down. One more push down. We get this push down here. And if at that point Dow hasn't triggered this trade, then I would market execute. But I feel like there's a good chance we get filled regardless. Yeah, I think we should get filled. All right, Q, take out those lows. Come on now. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, pal. All right, so we just tagged those. YM didn't trigger me in, so now I'm going to market execute instead. And then let me delete this before I get double risk in there. And then I have my sell stop over here. Yeah. All right. So we're in here. Trade's active. Looks like it maybe would have triggered me in anyways. We have S&P clearing those lows. Why am I not? Oh, no. Hold on. Trade copier isn't active for this. Hold up. All right. Damn, this is really unfortunate. It wasn't, I didn't have the order set here. If this thing runs, I'm going to be so pissed. I didn't have YM contract on my trade copier set up. Noob. I only had MYM set up. I'm going to be so fucking salty right now. I'll take a coffee. Thanks. All right, so now we pray that this comes back to give me an entry that's somewhat manageable. I'm just sitting in like salt at the moment. I forgot I hadn't, because I just don't normally trade the minis. All right, I'm going to pull the trigger here. Oh, and it opened me so much higher. This is awful. This completely changes the risk on my trade. This is not good. Look at, I could have such a better trade. Lemon, is this to rub the salt off my wounds? Okay, thank you. All right, so looking at this, where are we at here? Wow. Okay, whatever. So this is now, unfortunately, slightly over leveraged. I was opened way higher than I wanted to be. But actually, I'm not that over leveraged because I was already under leveraged when I was going to be taking these positions. So, whatever. At this point, let's see how much. What am I losing? 40. So that's 40 points on 4 contracts. All right, it's still within my zone. Otherwise, if it wasn't, I would just knock a contract off. But that's fine. So here are the pros of this trade. Is S&P has cleared a lot of this liquidity, and Q took out the lows over here. So we took out these lows, traded into this imbalance. So that's really nice. And then all of this is still divergent, right? So meanwhile, this is still doing this. So not terrible. This would have been in profit across the board, but whatever. playing from a little bit of extra drawdown today, but it is what it is. That's fine. And then the move down. So now we have to really understand the mitigation. So how much can we expect out of a move like this to the upside, or what's the bare minimum, we'll say. And my take on this is we got about a 65-point drop. So from here, like right around here is where we drop from. So then the move to the upside, we're looking at something like from here, we should be able to trade up towards like this order block, just about. So something like this. At that point, you know, reaching to these levels, that's when I would start to tighten my stops. Wow, what a gap, dude. That market execution jumped me like over 5 points. That was a lot. I was like down here. It's like 7 points. So it changes a bit. So right now at 4 contracts, what is that? $20 a point? Something like that? Originally, it was what, 22? 23? Something. All right. So let's look at price action here. We're having, so NQ swept the lows. Looks like kind of a rebalance right now before it's starting to rally again. Okay. S&P, similar. Dow, just holding it down. We'll see if there's consequences today. Could be. Very much could be. On the bright side, the leader account took extra profit on that first trade. That didn't trigger. Didn't copy over. So the good thing is I caught it. The bad thing is it kind of, my entry changed. Let me zoom out here, get a different take on this. So, all right, NQ imbalance fill hasn't worked its way down towards London lows. Okay, always an option. S&P imbalance filled here. There's still liquidity down here, though. We have Dow that could mitigate. Obviously not guaranteed to happen either. Borderline liquidity here. London lows, Tokyo lows here. Okay. All right, so while this trade's running, let's see what else we got going on. We got oil that blasted through all of that. Take a look at gold, silver and gold working their way up. So gold over here, just kind of chilling, holding structure, bullish. So I like the gold. This gold trade looks really nice. Silver started to pick up some momentum, and then looks like it's starting to drop now. Okay. Not bad. The way that this is looking, it looks like gold's going to be very much valid. Cool. So keep this one in mind. And then the take profit also could go could go well. So this is a very conservative exit. I like this. Here you got some good support. So 3R is fantastic. This does have the potential to go higher, though, depending on how we work our way down to here. So keep that one in mind. All right. New York Open, what, 1 minute? All right, so I got stopped out on YM. Sad. Clears the lows. Now wants to fucking rip. That's amazing. Love that for me. Love that for all of you. So after the liquidity here, now we're pushing higher. NQ going lower. Okay, so New York Open. NQ pushing down. Dow going up and then down and then up. So now we have a sweep of liquidity. Here we're seeing a shift in momentum. Huh? Yeah. Let's see. So London lows potentially swept here soon. Okay. Nice, nice. So this would be taking out some more liquidity. This is creating equal lows. So if we might see this push down and then run up, we got... Hey, Dow, are you enjoying your run? So the buy setup might play out here later on Dow Jones. So we'd see a nice push down here before the continuation. Gold not moving yet. It's not setting up. Okay. So there's definitely a difference in price action right now. You're seeing NQ go lower. It just took out London lows. Dow going higher. So will these come back to trade with one another later, eventually? Yes, more than likely. And then now we're seeing Dow Jones set up for a buy. What's that sound? Oh, that was Dow from earlier when I was looking for the shakeout here. Okay, so this looks... Huh? Yeah. Okay, so looks like the main thing was instead of mitigating this for whatever reason, it wanted to sweep liquidity first, trade into... Still didn't even take out Tokyo lows or London lows, but it didn't need to apparently. Now we're seeing good amount of structure here. And then will we see NQ take out Tokyo lows here? Okay. You know what? And S&P, right, playing the middleman here. S&P has this move. It's got one move down and then a rally. The downside with anything with S&P here is that it basically makes liquidity. So buying over here, I don't know if that's the best idea. NQ8 up London lows and then instantly ran up. Let's say NQ holds it down here. Maybe there's a shakeout there. But considering how much bullish momentum Dow has right now, I think I'd much rather be in Dow buys later. Okay, Dow now crashing. Interesting. All right, so Dow hasn't made higher highs. Very quick to drop. If it keeps dropping, don't think I'm going to target buys. If it keeps going up, then sure. But if this thing just bleeds out and trades down to here again right away, don't love that typically. Ooh, price action is a mess right now. How fun. Let me zoom out some more. Yeah, I'm not enticed to really trade in any direction right now. You know, London's taking the lows, chopping in here. Maybe somebody, I'm sure there's people that took a buy with NQ here. It wasn't like I would want there's a potential shakeout here, right? It kind of depends. Like I'm not seeing correlation between NQ and Dow right now. So let's say we were to kind of, do something like this, then maybe I'd be open to a buy. It just depends on price action, man. But this is pretty messy. And then there's no need, at least for me, like, yeah, losing obviously never feels good, but it is what it is. And so I don't want to force any setups here at all. So just let the market, show us what it wants. And Q pushing, S&P pushing, Dow kind of pushing. Now we're seeing NQ start to show signs of, the liquidity capture. This could, depending on how this plays out, maybe there's a sell up here. But price would have to come down and have more bearish structure. If that's not the case and NQ keeps going, if NQ keeps pushing higher, then same thing. Just like Dow, we might be in the market for a buy position. Man, this is push. These are wilding this morning. NFP really set it up, and then the open madness. Gold, quick update. Gold and silver still pretty bullish. So these look good eventually. Whenever that might be. Maybe later in the day. That's possible. No need to rush this one. Dow pushed up to here, made equal highs, and then has only been ranging since then. While S&P and NQ are ripping. Absolutely ripping. Now you have NASDAQ there. The sweep below takes out London lows. Fantastic. It's pushing significantly higher over here. About to trade up into this. We break above and we are bullish. Then this buy makes sense later. So if we see something like this, then cool, we can have a buy later on. Scenarios, plenty of scenarios here. Let's see, Dow looks like it's considering finally breaking through. But at this point, NQ is moving. Filled an imbalance here. Wow, this just filled it and said bye. Instantly dropped. So did Dow. Everything did. Interesting. Okay. Now, what are the majors doing, actually? So here's a different question for you guys. So we saw all these dollar pairs, break above. Australian kept pushing higher on the 5-minute. The 15 failed. Didn't take out the highs here. Lost a lot of momentum. I say that about basically all of these setups. The yen especially. So I'm looking at this, and it seems to me like these set up for shakeout setups. So the market pumped, but just to liquidate and then lose momentum. So let me clean this up for you guys. While indices do indice things, this is what you see, right? You see all of these pump up, and then they're now losing momentum. All of them, very similar. It's just a matter now of choosing the right asset to trade following that push higher. The yen definitely has the most. It's like it just died out after it pushed up here. So the yen could be a good sell over here. Maybe euro could be a good sell as well. Euro took out some liquidity, then worked its way down. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this for sure. So keep me posted, anyone that's looking at majors. All right. So we saw NQ take out the highs. Some of this resistance, fill the imbalance, and then drop, immediately coming back up. S&P, and then Dow is building up a lot of liquidity up here, just squeezing since New York Open. It's just been squeezing. 11 minutes, squeezing. We have news in 19 minutes as well. So it seems like Dow has lost all of its momentum. This may set us up for one of these guys. So we'll stay tuned here. Meanwhile, NQ takes out this resistance, fills imbalance. Starting to chop as well. No decision for me. I wouldn't take a sell or anything quite yet. So I'd hold off. Lots of movement. So one thing that we can do, if you want to narrow down, let's say looking for a sell with these majors, because to me this looks like a liquidity capture, loses the momentum. This is now luring in buyers, and then we can see sells up here. So what I typically do here is I'll measure out the movement, that drop, and then see, okay, what has the most bearish price action? Like what's coming back up at the slowest pace? So Australian, NZD, these are pretty similar. Australian a little bit more bearish. Euro still looks like it's just kind of luring in buyers. So this is definitely super bearish. It's sitting at just making more lows still. CAD isn't it? The yen just tanked. Worked all the way down, but there's liquidity up here. Don't love that. Pound isn't dropping as much significantly. Swiss franc. So we'll just I'm going to just wait. That's all I can do. All right. Dow bleeding out. Working its way down to here again. Funny enough, Interestingly enough, the micro buy would have actually played out. Isn't that some shit? Maybe? Interesting. I'm going to have to look into this. Our original micro Dow Jones buy that we had set up would have been perfect 5.4R. Isn't that interesting? Huh. So there's no buy on Dow Jones now. I'm not buying anything Dow related right now. It's definitely way more bearish. These are all on the same page now, and this is bleeding out. And Q's holding up this structure way better. So, you know, here was the market dumping. This is basically a shakeout. So I would much rather trade NQ than Dow Jones, for sure. You start seeing the market dump from over here. Now it's building up retail sellers. So if I'm looking for a buy, I'm looking for a buy like right here. And then this has left a lot of liquidity. This would be going towards highs. So something like this looks good. Bless you. You've seen a lot of support over here, some support over here, some support over here. So in this order block, looks good. I'm going to take this a little lower. Right there. And then, yeah, this looks solid. All right. I'm cool with this. Now we could see Dow Jones work its way down to those lows, right? Remember, we hadn't cleared Tokyo or London lows yet. So we would want to see Dow get down to here, take that out, and then run. This micro and mini difference in price action is so interesting. Because literally that's the trade that we wanted before I looked at the mini. Why would it be like that? Huh. I wonder if there was more volume in micros for some reason than minis. I guess I could have checked. If anyone wants to check the difference in volume between micros and mini at that time, that would be useful. Because instead of I took a little over a 1R loss, I would have won 5 and change. This is a little upsetting. Okay. So let's see if we get Dow to break lower, sweep those London lows, and if that lures in this NQ buy. That would be sick. All right. Gold starting to drop a little bit. We had an oil alert, right? That's what just went off. And then where is this? 202. Oh, higher time. Oh, here we go. What's up, man? Hey. Okay. So this was a sweep to the high. Market drops. We just never got back here. We might see a little reversal off like this open area, but I'm more interested in the market selling out of these higher zones. So here where we've seen resistance right around 59.64. This kind of looks like more like what I would want to trade on oil. Right over here. The market, oh, hold on, guys. Skirt. NQ started to crash. So we can get back to that in a second. NQ pushing down. Dow. What you gonna do, pal? Let's see. Do I have this right? NQ now trading into this order block. Is it gonna trigger me in is the question. I'm triggered in now. Is it gonna hold? I don't love that Dow has those equal lows there. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of that. All right. So the push down here, about 66 points. We're getting a good reversal now. The order block is definitely rejected. So that's fantastic. If the order block rejected and we're, let's say, specifically trading the order block, then technically we could just move our stops because we're trading the, let's say this was the buy that we're looking for. Here's where I think we really capture liquidity. So if this is it, then we could tighten up. However, if it does stop you out and then run, can't be upset about it because you're managing based off of the order block and not the bigger move. This is a bit more conservative. And then, all right, so now we're doing the thing. Whoa. So sell off here. 66.5. This would need to get to, like, let's just say around here. This is playing out well. So if you're trading the mitigation of this sell-off, then you would, ideally wait to push higher. If you're more so focused on the order block itself, like, hey, this is really what I'm trading, then you would want to move your stops. Now, YM alert, what does that mean? Beautiful. There we go. All right, Dow swept liquidity. Here we go. NQ, buy. It's going to rip. Now NQ can fly. There it goes. Sells, stops are managed. Tighten this up a little bit here. Confirmed. And now this has a decent chance of running now that we swept liquidity there. Let's see here. So stops I have here tightened up. Let's see. Dow is running. Now Dow is pushing and NQ is chilling. Why are you doing that? Let's clean this chart up. It's pretty messy. All right, so we got NQ. So now that Dow swept liquidity, it looks like it has more bullish momentum than NASDAQ. Can't catch a break today for some reason. What the fuck? Why you do this? Let's see if we get an imbalance fill at NQ and then it runs. Or no? What are we getting here? Wild. All right, so, I mean, let's just say things don't go our way. They could, But if they don't, then, I mean, the nice thing is this is kind of setting up for another setup. So worst case scenario, maybe we would have sweep of liquidity. Let's say the market runs a little higher. Dow has targets up here for sure, so Dow can go towards these areas. But, of course, you never know. The market just might want to fill in balance and run. So, all right, NQ feeling itself again. Cool. These are kind of on the same page now. Yeah. All right. I'm going to let this thing go. I'm going to let this thing rip. Especially because we have those those Dow targets up there. I think we can go work our way up. Curious to see if Dow or NQ is going to get up here first. So let's see. I'm actually going to go split screen here. I'm very curious on these. Stops. I'm moving my stop now into profit. It looks like honestly, I'm not sure which one's going to hit first up here. All right, if we zoom out some more, so let's go 15. We have the Dow's targets would really be trading way up here now. Like it would be to trade significantly higher. Everything else is pretty efficient, so this could really rip today, like significantly, if this doesn't just, reverse right now. And it seems like Dow has a bit more bullish momentum though. NQ last couple minutes are like starting to push down a little, and Dow's like, no, we're just gonna keep on trucking along. So we got just about a 2R so far on this idea before this slight little pullbacks that we're getting right now. That's not what I'm changing. This is what I wanted to see. So yeah, right around a 2R. If you guys have your 2R fixed exit, then you should have hit your take profit. And then here, let's see. Damn, yeah, Dow has more bullish momentum. That sucks. Because now what can happen is NQ could just pull back deep and then run some more. Like the pullbacks seem to be a bit more aggressive on NASDAQ. Maybe the extensions get just as aggressive too. I say that's maybe more wishful thinking than anything else. But sometimes when you're not in the one with the most momentum, the pullbacks are brief. They break just one wick and then they run. So it is a little bit more frustrating. I'm actually, because I know that happens every once in a while, I'm okay with giving myself a little bit extra breathing room here and then letting the market run a little bit further. So sometimes you'll see it happen like that. Huh? Oh, that's funny. So, okay, Dow imbalance, order block rejection. Let's hope it doesn't want to go lower. And this thing wants to just chill out. Fly, birdie, fly. All right, Dow about to crack these highs again. Let's see. With this, so let's say Dow takes out these highs first, and then let's say NQ maybe clears this. I might take profit a little earlier, assuming I can get up there, right? Because we're not, NQ isn't really pushing as nicely as I would want it to. S&P. Maybe we get a price action flip here. Get NQ pushing higher. Let's see. I haven't even looked at the chat. That's how you know we've been locked in, dude. I haven't even looked at the chat. I don't even know what y'all experiencing. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I think we're going to see a price action flip. Dow is starting to push down a little bit, and NQ is starting to just push up a little bit. I have a feeling we might. NQ is like, hold my beer. Come on now. I forgot about oil. I abandoned it. Sorry, pal. So while that does its thing, the oil idea that I was looking at earlier, yeah, so trading around here, like it reaching these areas looks solid to me. Here was a big move up. So I think it's like I'm looking at right around, I'll say 59.60. 59.60 I like for a short on oil. We're almost there. So just 59, 60, 64-ish, like around here. This I like. And then I'm going to have my stop up here. And then take profit wise, trading into this imbalance. Keep it a 2R. Whoa. Looks good. So I'll create this limit order. That would have to be over here. Meanwhile, guys, so looking at Dow, looking at NQ, Dow is pushing a bit stronger, faster right now. Hasn't quite taken out the equal highs yet, but it's pushing towards it. While NASDAQ is struggling. It's pushing, but just not with the same intensity. So, you know, when you start noticing these things, yeah, like this fucking pullback, they get so aggressive. So yeah, you just gotta just dealing with all this, man. So ideally we see Dow take out these highs, and then from there it could reverse. So I'm going to just take my profit if Dow decides to take this first, which is very much possible. Ideally, doesn't stop me out before it does that. So let's see. NQ is just a mess right now. Now, the thing is, the squeeze is kind of a good thing, I guess, because if it does break out in our favor, then the move can be a substantial one. So it could be a massive breakout. And then worst case scenario, I mean, you lose whatever you lose. Here, I decided to give myself a little bit of extra breathing room in case this wanted to wick down. Honestly, it could even break briefly before it runs again. So like even having it like to here, like makes sense. A little wickage and then it runs. It just depends on what you're willing to risk and to what you're willing to get. Here's the nice thing. Dow is pushing down. NQ isn't budging. So on the way back up, we might get an aggressive move here. But at the end of the day, you want to trade what you can count on, not what you want to hope for. And let's see. The good thing for Dow here is Dow swept liquidity. There's like not a lot of motive for it to go lower. So Dow sweeping liquidity, working its way up is solid. You have the push down. Efficient movement here. So yeah, that's all good. Let's see this breakthrough. NQ holding up decent while Dow kind of keeps going back and forth on this area over here. Let's see. This might be the takeover for NQ. So I feel like it's a race. We're seeing F1 indices style. Yeah, look at this. Now, Dow dumping. Here, NQ like, we're cool, bro. We're chill. It's fine. Everything's going to be okay. Break below here. Dow holding this candle. The candle of fortitude over here. Just locked in. Eat this up. Eat this up. Come on. And then rip. So look at how it's priced now. Now it looks like NQ could hit the highs first. So let's say that this is filling. I'm not going to take an order here, but let's say we came down to mitigate. So now we can exchange sells for buys. And this thing wants to give us a reversal. And everything goes in unison. Now the push here definitely helps NQ rallies. Assuming that's the case. Wow. Dow really dumping. And NQ holding it down. I'm shook. I'm shooketh. What's MES doing? MES is chilling. I don't know, folks. I don't know about y'all, but this ain't looking too good for our trade here. I'm gonna tighten this up here. Now that we're not seeing such a divergence between these, and we're seeing NQ hold up better, if we get another push up, then moving stops becomes a lot easier. Like just following structure, because now NQ is holding up bullish price action significantly better than Dow. So we're able to hold this and let it run. But this squeeze is really impressive, because we've been now moving like at least sideways for what, 12 minutes, 20 minutes almost. Yeah, the breakout is going to be epic. Whatever direction it is, it's going to be a good one. The divergence is solid though, so we're now making lower lows on Dow, and then we're still seeing higher lows on NQ. So I mean, that's good at least, but that's really it. MESH alert. What's that, man? Whoa. Okay, so that finally took out the lows. Can you survive NQ is the question. Will you be holding up, and are you going to give us a shot to play out? That's the question. All right, S&P. A part of me really wants to give me the whole risk here to let this one run, like to go, no, this thing's gonna go. Watch, because now S&P's imbalance is filled. This thing's gonna run from here. Trust me. How many contracts did I have open here just now? Watch. This will run. I'm taking this, because the divergence is still there. So now we saw this. NQ structure held. You saw S&P here, imbalance fill, which we hadn't seen it do yet. That's what was missing out of the equation. S&P imbalance fill. You had, oh my God, where is this? Dow, push a little lower. But this was the last piece of the puzzle. I forgot we hadn't gotten this part yet. So we pushed down. NQ structure would have been valid. Why do I keep getting open so high, though? Market execution. That's the issue with market executions, is you get the worst fills. All right. I think I got to be done here. I'm getting slaughtered today. NQ. What is this alert? The Tokyo lows. Tokyo lows swept. Nice. That's right. We never got down to here, huh? Tokyo lows swept. You have kind of liquidity there. Okay. S&P takes out London lows. So S&P still not as bearish. And then you have Dow that just finally took everything out. London, Tokyo. All right. So that's interesting. S&P, the best of all the structures right now. Looks like the real shakeout is probably going to come from here. All right, so that last NQ shouldn't have taken that. That was to say that's a bad loss. That's definitely a bad loss. That was a live revenge trade. I'll own that for sure. Since reduced loss on NQ was present, wasn't the worst L in the world, but definitely didn't need to do that. Wow. I am human, believe it or not. And here we go. Now this is going to do everything else. Looks like between these, if there's a shakeout, it looks like it'll be NQ still or S&P. YM not really rebounding the same way. So, okay, NQ, possibly give it time. You might get a play there. If you look at, let's see, gold hasn't worked its way down to here, so that's just pending. And then we have oil, which started to reject this area. It's a big zone to sell from, though, so remember that. Like, this is a giant zone. So this reversal, the small reversal here, could be just playing out of kind of the open of this price action, not so much the entire move. So if we do come back up on oil, like I mentioned earlier, I have this set up here. Or I thought I did. Hold on. Let's see. So we have oil here. Okay. Yep. Right around here. And just honestly, just trading it into the imbalance. Don't have to go for anything too crazy here. I'm down. So if you guys are curious, if you want to know how much I'm down right now, I'm down like 20K. All right. Okay, that's set. Here is. So I'm down a little over half of what I made yesterday. Yeah, wow, look at that. Beautiful price action. Beautiful. So here, one of two things happens. Market chills out, stalls, we get a drop, you get the shakeout. 2, breaks through, and then you wait for a mitigation. So one or the other. And NQES, pretty similar. NQ actually a little bit more bullish. Dow slower on the move. So it looks like today is just a classic push down, push down, push down. I feel a little some type of way with this first Dow buy. Kind of feel like I got robbed. The micro and mini price action differentiation there is interesting, but whatever. I'll have to see what they can pick up from that. And then from now, yeah, it's going to be one or the other, right? We either break through, let the market prove its bullish demand, and then see if we can get the next move, or it stays here. We see a retail sellers kind of build up, and then we get the next move down, and then, you know, we can see this go. So right now I'm down about 3R on the day. Day's young. Don't need to make that up today. If nothing shows up, then, you know, I just got to take the L. 1R for sure was avoidable. For sure. The Dow one, whatever. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a couple ideas that I see here. So this is scenario 1, or this breaks through and we get scenario 2. So you get either shakeout or mitigation play, one or the other. So this is scenario 1. Scenario 2 is the break above. So it looks like we might even get it before I get off. So we might break above, bullish structure, and then actually it doesn't need to go that high. It would have to just go this high. And then you could see the pullback. And then the continuation. So one of these two for NASDAQ. So let's get this over here. It's funny because had this Dow trade, this one had the original idea set up, then I would have already hit the max on the accounts. Then none of it would have happened. But, you know, that's how the market goes sometimes. So it looks like this is not even going to be a scenario. I think this is really our only option. So let me make this all pretty for you guys. The final drop happens here. We want to see, at this point, ideally, bullish demand. This might take hours for it to set up, so have some patience here. Trading into here somewhere. So there's NQ. January 9, 2026. NQ mitigation. You got oil. So we'll go 4 hour here. This is basically the setup. So you got the oil trade from somewhere over here. I don't actually remember where it starts, because I have this marked up on CL. I guess I'll just send you guys this one. Here. And then the short is from like right there. And we're looking at possible 2R here. If this keeps dropping, so from now it drops down to, it would have to drop down a lot actually, over here, then that would be the end of it. So actually this trade should go further. If let's say it triggers from here. Wait, what am I doing here? No, that's about right. All right. So if it does break below 58.40, then the pending would be completely dismissed. So here's oil. So we have our typical suspects here: oil, gold, and NQ. And then we have gold or silver. I guess we have to keep that in mind. Gold stalled out, silver. Yeah, I mean, looks pretty likely. Don't know if it's going to be today, though. We shall see, my friends. What's the entry I have here? 4472.1. Okay. All right, so we have gold. Gold mitigation. It doesn't look like Dow would be really in contention for anything. Majors are all still dropping, so that shakeout isn't really even a possibility. Cool. Okay, with that being said, here, I'm going to wrap up here soon. Got stocks kind of chilling, which makes sense. Everything. Whoa, Intel 10% jump. Jesus. Well, there's some good news at least. 10% rally on Intel. Sweet. 8% on SEDG. Sick. Not the solar that I need to jump like that. And then that's it. Master down another 6%. All right. Crypto. What's crypto doing? Meh. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I wonder what this chat looks like. Today was something. What's this chat looking like? It's not always this chaotic. God, no, definitely not. I can tell. I can tell by the view count too. Oh, it was Ricky. Ricky, you sold on me? I see. It was all Ricky's fault. Dope. YM had 2.21 in volume while MYM had 2.53 at that 1 minute. Ah, okay. So if I had known that, then I would have kept it because that had more volume. It was a better representation of the market. Damn. Interesting. That's good to know. A lot of curse words were said on my end. Yeah, me too. Yeah, probably at least live wise, that's probably the worst I've traded ever, maybe. But funny thing is we floated up quite a bit. Like we floated profit on Dow up like an R&a-half. We floated profit on NQ about 2R before it pulled back. Even trade management, like that was a disaster. I shouldn't even lost anything on the first one. But after MY or NQ and Y were flip-flopping, I was like, all right, cool. Let me manage the price action the way I want to. But yeah, like the squeeze was a flip and then wow, that was really retail today. Well, guys, I just wanted to flex that I'm a human being. That's it. Just to make sure you guys also, you're confident with your trading. But the cool thing is you can be down. You can go down a couple hours in a day and you're good. Yep. I mean, I like the setup either way on NQ. Like it was a solid buy. Like we got a nice move. It just wasn't. It just like all we needed was a little bit more, and the profits were taken. But it is what it is. Now we can still have a buy setup later that could make up for it or more. And if not, then you just got to be able to adapt to it. I don't think we're gonna get gold today. Gold just ripped again. So Gold does not look like it's going to give us the opportunity. Oil, I think oil might, though. So I'd say oil and indices still might have something for later. So have your alert set. Be ready. I'm going to have a couple alerts here. If the market starts to work its way back down. We already broke the high here. So now it's more of a building demand, trading up here, establishing bullish structure, and then getting another move. Been trading. Hey, me too, man. 10 years I've been trading as well. And, you know, it's funny. Like, I think I was up like 100K in the last week. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just risk reward. Money, etc. It's just risk reward. So I am going to have to mark, which is so sad. This is the worst part. The worst part of this was that I have to journal an undisciplined trade today. That one hurts. That's probably the worst. Once S&P cleared the London lows, or once it came into this imbalance, and then Q held the structure, I was like, oh no, it's got to go up. And I forgot that S&P hadn't swept London lows. So it traded into the imbalance, but it didn't take out the London low. And that was the last liquidity event that was needed for this thing to absolutely rip. So yeah, keep this in mind, guys. Also, I'm going to have to add this into the setups because now here, look at how Dow has now overtaken NQ's price action. And that would have been take profit hit on NQ. So keep both of these in mind. Keep tracking the momentum. If NQ starts to get more bearish and we start seeing that happen, then Dow might be the better buy position. So let's just keep price action in mind, the momentum in mind, and then take whatever makes the most sense. So even if NQ was looking like more bullish, better demand, but if price action flips, like you got to just listen. You got to do what the market shows you. So yeah, with that being said, guys, indices are basically the same play across the board. Watch for price action. Oh, Andrej, I appreciate that, man. Good to see some veterans in here too. Yep. All right, guys. We'll be in the community as always. So if you guys want to continue to chop it up regarding potential setups, regarding things you have in mind, guys, like talk it through over there. Sometimes you need some perspective. Sometimes you need some more clarity. So if that's the case, then feel free. I'm not going to actually do this. I'm going to just say, keep your eyes on the correlated assets with indices just in case we see price action flip. All right, there we have it. Unpin this. We'll pin today's setups. Any resources, access to community, etc., you guys will see in the description. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Sirens are going off. That's true. There is this Dow sell from earlier from Wednesday's New York Open. So, man, we might even go all the way up there. That's very much possible. Today, yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's only 100. It's less than 200 points out. It's like 150 points out. So I guess let me add this one to the equation here. YM, good looks. Who was that? Diego. Good stuff, man. I forgot I had that one marked up. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, the weekend. Make sure you're documenting what you're taking today. If today was a roller coaster, walk yourself through it. I know I'm going to be doing some journaling right now, because I think it was a little weird. This is definitely a little out of character, but maybe because I knew I was a day away from a 15K payout. So maybe that had something to do with it. I wasn't really thinking about that in real time. I think it was a bias kind of thing. We're going to go up. Maybe a little bit of revenge, a little mixture, a little concoction of impulsivity, unfortunately. But document that. And either way, this is what trading is. This, right? It isn't there is no perfect trader, but it is definitely about reducing how you approach things. Just reducing how things happen, reducing the mistakes, being able to stay in control, being able to think long term, not just short term, and detaching from expectations. So I say this all the time, but the best loser wins. So you got to give that back to Tom Hogarth. It's just a reality. If you can lose according to the plan and you have obviously an edge that works, then you're good. At this point in, I don't know how many goddamn hours I have on these charts, but winning and hitting the trades is the easiest part. It's being able to detach from your ego and your pride and your expectations and just losing exactly how you're supposed to. So for example, today, taking just an extra 1R loss, if you do that often enough, it's going to throw off your equity curve. It's going to throw off your profitability, especially if you don't allow yourself to lose the way you're supposed to lose. And a small loss or just a loss turns into a big one. It's where it adds up. So when a 1R turns into a 3R because you just couldn't let go of the trade or you didn't want that to hurt your pride, it'll make a big difference. And so anyways, this is why I like live trading and why I've been doing it in front of you guys since December of 2017. Yeah, right? Over 8 years trading live. It's because it's all you can't escape reality. It's all real. It's all as it is. It's pretty straightforward. So taking and you guys are seeing the leader account times 16. So I think seeing that happen just helps me and you guys manage and execute everything the right way. So keeping the composure goes a very, very long way. So anyways, guys, for those of you that want to keep improving your skills, obviously the classroom has tons of free resources for you. For those of you that want more hands-on work, you're trading. You just want to improve your skills, keep your payouts, stay funded, scale your accounts, especially the syndicate is for people that are right in that pocket. You're trading, you may need some more development in your edge, etc. Then cool, check out what we have going on there. Links in the description. Actually, it's not. I'll have to drop a link, but you guys can scan it here. So scan the code on the right if you are looking to work with us more hands-on. Feedback sessions, the psychology, technical systems, financial systems, etc. You have it on there. But otherwise, guys, we'll be live again on Monday morning. We're here Monday through Friday doing our thing. And shout out to you guys, man. Remember, we're just building our freedoms one trade at a time. Peace out, guys. Catch y'all on the next one.